The first thing that most of us learn when it comes to improvising is the blues scale, this supposed holy grail of scales that always sounds good and is going to make our solos sound amazing. And we learn it in a bunch of different keys, but our solos still sound a bit boring and nowhere near as good as we were hoping, right? And that's because of one particular note. So today, let's go over which note that is and how we can start getting the most out of our blues scale. It's important to remember that pretty much every aspect of music theory, including scales, came long after the sounds. People were improvising with the blues scale years before anyone wrote it down and named it. And it's the way that they were using it that so often gets lost when we start thinking about the theory. But also, the way that they used it is what makes it sound so good. So, in case you don't know, the blues scale is just a 6-note scale made up of the first, flattened third, fourth, flattened fifth, fifth, and flattened 7th notes of whichever key we're in. So if we're in the key of C, we'd have C as our root, E would be the third, but flatten it down to an E flat, F is our fourth, G flat is our flattened fifth, G is our fifth, and then B flat is our flattened 7th, giving us C, E flat, F, G flat, G, and B flat. And this is almost identical to the minor pentatonic scale. The only difference is that the minor pentatonic doesn't have that flattened fifth. And it's this note, that flattened fifth, which so often makes people's improvisations sound a bit beginner. You see, that note deliberately clashes with the harmony, so it's really easy to accidentally make it sound quite bad when we're soloing. And if we try to avoid that by only using that note when we're running up or down the scale, it sounds okay, better than what we had before, but it still doesn't sound very good or authentic, and you still sound quite a lot like a beginner. So how did the greats use that note? Well, the first and perhaps simplest way is rather than treating it as like a full note in the scale, only use it as a grace note or a crushed note when you're going from the 4th to the 5th or the other way round. Another way, which Clarence Clemons does a whole lot, is treating it as a passing note when going from the 5th down to the 4th, or the other way round. One of his most played licks features this right at the start. We can also use that flat 5 to help create some cool little riffs, just like Nat and Cannonball Adderley do on their solos on The Sticks from the album Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. Just be careful when you're doing this to make sure that that flat 5 is either going up to the 5th or down to the 4th, so it's really acting as some nice colour before resolving to one of those two notes. All of this, remember that flattened 5th has quite a tense sound because it really clashes with the harmony. And we can use this tension to help ramp up the drama in our solos. Just be careful with it. If you feel it's getting a little bit too much, just fall back on that minor pentatonic scale for a little bit. Now, this has definitely just scratched the surface, so if you want some more ideas on how you can level up your blues soloing, check out this video next.